Hey, so one of the things that brings me more joy than anything is making these videos for you guys, offering you ideas and perspectives that might support you on your journey of becoming the strongest version of yourself. And oftentimes it comes in the form of questions and answers. You guys send me questions and I answer them based on my experience and knowledge. So I tend to be a little bit older than the majority of you that watch these videos. I've had tremendous life experience when it comes to business, family, personal development in that way. So all the ideas that I offer you, perspective, support, come from my experience or what I've learned as I've been traveling the same journey that you guys happen to be on. One of the areas of interest that I often attempt to support you in, simply because of my understanding of psychology and social dynamics, is the interaction of the male and female energy. And I usually approach it from that perspective, male and female energy. But technically, tangibly, one of the things that comes as a concern for many of you, one of the things that's really important for you to be able to become the strongest version of yourself, and I know this, and I read it in your questions, is how to meet women. Of course, and there are all types of associations with it. But I truly believe that it's an integral part of becoming the strongest version of yourself. Managing the dynamics between male and female. And you can only go about that journey if you can actually meet women. Now, I don't go out and meet women because I met a woman who I decided to spend the rest of my life with. Whatever your opinions of that, that happens to be the case, so I don't have the technical know-how or the practice to go out and meet women. So whatever ideas I offer you is basically secondhand. But there are dudes out there who are proficient, they're experts, literal experts. This is what they do. They go out and they know how to meet women. And they teach people how to meet women. And I've mentioned Tyler before, Tyler Durden, RSD, also known as Owen, who also has a YouTube channel, as somebody who knows specifically how to go out. He teaches you. Like a teacher, like someone who would teach you mathematics or science. This is the mathematics and science of how to meet women. And we've watched some of his videos. So I was lucky enough this weekend, Chris and I decided to meet Tyler out in Orlando, where he was doing one of his free events. And although I've watched some of his videos, I've never seen him in action. I don't know exactly what the tangible expression of this skill looks like. Like I said, I haven't done it, my friends don't do it, And we had an opportunity to watch Tyler, the expert in meeting women, in action. And I was tickled. Chris and we laughed the entire ride home at what we watched happen in front of our eyes, and I think it was the coolest thing ever. And being the strongest version of yourself is a state. It's who you are. That's always the very first and most important thing. How is your energy? Who are you? But then, what are you going to do? And I literally watched this guy go and do exactly what it takes to instantly meet women. Craziest thing I ever saw. It was an incredible display. Let me tell you a couple quick stories. One of them was when Chris and I first got there, they had already been hanging out. What happens is after the event, they go and hang out at a bar or a club or something where, the guys can practice. And I get there, and within minutes, I think we're having a conversation, Tyler and I literally blink, and then he's about 10 feet away with a beautiful blonde girl around one arm, and he's kissing her. I don't know what he said in her ear. She seems to be really happy because she's giggling about the whole experience. And I'm like, that must be one of his friends. Clearly that is someone he knows. And he walks away with her and is giggling and laughing, and then comes back, and then, as if nothing ever happened, continues the conversation. And I'm like, well, who was that? And she your friend? How did you meet her? And he was like, no, it's just one of the girls I decided to go and talk to. And I was like, okay, cool. And over the course of the rest of the time there, the hour, he's snapping his fingers and pulling girls over and having lovely conversations with them. It wasn't eerie or weird or awkward where it was like, hey, I finally got this girl to pay attention to me, what do I say now? There was just this fluidity of being able to draw someone's attention and then go down a sequential path that seemed totally natural to kiss me, give me your number, or hey, this was just fun, give me a high five, I'll talk to you later. Whatever it is, he wanted to do with the situation. So of course it's like, well, so he's an expert in that. He's been studying this. He's been doing it for a long time. But at the same time, he's also with a bunch of dudes who don't do this. And one of the guys, who happened to be a friend of mine, has a stuttering problem. And he says to Tyler, look, it's very easy. Of course, you're a cool dude. You're waving and you're saying hi and you're talking to women and you're very proficient in that particular way. You can speak well. I can't speak that well. I get nervous and I stutter. And he literally does. He has a stuttering problem. And Tyler says to him, boo-hoo, what does that mean? You're going to have a dry dick for the rest of your life? Your stuttering problem should help you get women. You know something? Watch me go and talk to this girl without saying a word. And Chris and I are sitting there and we're just like, this guy is nuts. How is he going to do this? And of course, I'm not giving away his secrets because I'm sure there's a whole lot more to it. But he goes up to this girl without saying a word and he puts his hand out like that. Now, at first she was like, oh, well, who are you? I don't want to touch her hand. And I thought the smoothest thing was he goes like this, high five to her. Now, who doesn't give a high five? He's basically saying, okay, I acknowledge that you want to hold my hand, high five. Within seconds, there's a high five, the hands come back down here, and he's turning her around as if she's dancing and she's giggling, and the whole thing is fucking fun. So anyway, that's my introduction to the very first guest on this channel. I haven't had any guests on my Elliott Hulse channel, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Durden.
Hey, that was I feel so shy after hearing that. Thanks for the introduction.
As you should.
I don't even really like, when I think of it in my mind, I don't even think of it like I'm doing anything. I just think of it like I'm just having fun. But it's like you were saying before, it's like when you first learn it, you have to go about learning it methodically, and then it's just kind of what you're doing. So in my mind, it's like we're all at the bar. Like in my mind, we did the same thing at the bar. Yeah. But because we just went there to have fun.
Right.
But then it's just when you learn pickup, that's what you get out of it. So I didn't learn any of that stuff naturally. It came very, very hard for me. Pickup was actually the hardest thing I've ever learned in my life.
Yeah.
I really lacked social acuity. I grew up having a very hard time reading social cues. I have a hard time paying attention to how long I've been talking, as you probably have noticed a little bit, right? Like I just talk and I don't even know how long I've been talking and stuff.
But clearly it works for you.
I've figured out ways to make it work, yeah.
Hey, and that's what it's about, right? Becoming the strongest version of yourself is figuring out, like, knowing yourself first, and then how can you use whatever tools you have at your disposal to go and make a great life.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought maybe I would talk a little bit about maybe, like, my approach to it, and then kind of what I learned from you. I've been watching Elliott's videos for years.
I'm going to step out the way so Tyler can be in the camera.
Okay.
But let him explain all the cool things that he does and how he does it, because I think it'll be very helpful to you guys, and that's why we brought him here for you.
Yeah, okay, so a couple basic pointers. Okay, so the frame that I come from is that the way that you learn to meet girls is by going out and meeting girls. So if you like to go to the gym, how do you get stronger? You lift weights. If you want to learn how to meet girls, what do? You go to high volume environments, whether that's a bar, club, or if you have high volume environments during the day, you go out and meet girls. Now, the frame that I come from is the way that you create attraction is not what you do, it's who you are as a person. So you should be able to just kind of go up and just be like, hey, what's up? And if you have the right energy, you'll usually tend to do really well. So one of the reasons why I watch your videos is because Elliott focuses on two things that I really like, and that's why I watch almost all Elliott's videos. One of them I call unstifling, and you call that bioenergetics. So what he does, Stacey right now, right? You're sitting here, and say that you're kind of tight, right? But if you kind of start to shake around, like that, right? And hey! Like that, right? See how you like loosen up, right? Yeah. That's just how I can do. Hey! How you doing? My name's Owen.
You can take my place, man. That's exactly
take your place.
What I do.
Right? Bang, right? So that's like an example, right? So that's just understanding your body and how your body works. And it's funny to do that, like it feels good, you know? Like that, right? So you shake it out. Now, it looks fucking weird, right? If the mainstream media saw that, they're like, look what they're showing. But what's good about it is that you have this tension that's brought into you from your interaction with modern society. So as you kind of begin to peel back the layers and you read a lot of books and whatnot, and that's a big thing we share as like avid readers. Like I'm always reading, doing meditation, and we're doing that because we're sensitive to our environment. So trying to break out of that. Doing those things, among many other things, kind of help you to break out of it. The other thing that Elliott does, and these are both things that he does on a, like, if I'm at like a 6 on this, he's like at a 10 or like a 100, is what he calls grounding. So if you look at Elliott, he's very loose. Like if you look at his videos, it's like, boom, like, you know when he talks, like, it's intense, and, you know, like shit like that, right? And he's able to emote well, and he moves his energy well. So that's actually why I watched your videos for so long, is because even just by watching it, you're getting it by osmosis. Like, you know, you think of people who maybe like come up to you on the street and they're like, oh, you changed my life, man. And it's like, well, what exactly did I tell you that changed your life? And they may not even know what it was.
Right.
It's just the energy. It's like, oh, I don't have to walk around stifled in by society anymore. You know, it's like I can let it out. Like I can, you know, relax, right?
Yeah.
So those are things that you do at the gym. And like me and my buddies, we kind of get that from going out and meeting girls. So that's a really big kind of relation point that we kind of have between the two things, right? And when you have that, like I don't even want to keep saying this to Elliott because I don't want to put this in his mind. There's nothing better, in my opinion, than having a good woman to support you. But if he were to actually go out and do pickup, like it'd just be crazy. But I don't even want to like, you know, put that in there. But anyway, sorry, my voice. We just came out of running a huge program.
You know what? Wrap on that because it's the skill. It's the skills part that is the other end of the spectrum because I know how to be.
Yeah, you have the base, and then the skill is things like just getting into a rhythm with your night, doing approaches, and knowing, say, for example, you know, when's a good waypoint to get the number, or what do you do when the friend intrudes off of you, or what's the right time to pull her home, or what's like a good text because, say, for example, that you had a good interaction, but then, you know, what are you going to text, right? And the girl's forgotten about what a good interaction you have because she's a space cadet. So then how are you going to hit her with the text? That's the right text to get her out. And there's just so much to it that you learn over time. So just like with weightlifting, if you're, you know, if you're cracking at the pickup stuff a lot, and you can see I just came out of these huge programs. I'm talking like the big crowd for like, you know, I talk to huge crowds for like 4 days, right? So I just blow my voice out by the end of it. But the point being is, yeah, you learn that in the same way that you learn anything. It's a skill set. But see, so many guys don't want to view it as a skill set. They think it's like they should know how to do it. So I always joke guys have two main delusions. One is that they could kick ass in a fight without any training. And of course, if they fight somebody who has training, they get the shit kicked out of them.
Right.
The other part of it is they think they know how to pick up girls.
Right, and you shouldn't be embarrassed that you don't understand these things. Like, one of the things that I think guys think they should know is how to like fix cars or like how to fix things in the home.
Yeah.
And I'm completely like I'm a manly man in many ways. But I don't know how to fix shit. I can't change my oil, nor do I even care to. So I think it's fair to say that if you don't know how to pick up women, it doesn't mean you're less of a man. It just means you haven't practiced this, or you haven't learned and then practiced the skills that are required to do it.
Yeah, it's crazy too, like the delusions that guys have about this because they, you know, what they'll tend to do is say like, oh, like, you know, I've picked up like, you know, many different girls in my life, I've never been blown off, and I've never had a girl not return my phone call. But the reason why that's happening is because they're picking girls that have chosen them. So learning how to do pickup is about having freedom and choice. It's about saying, okay, there's the girl that I want to talk to, I'm going to go talk to her. And you wind up getting a lot of great options out of it. Because when you're meeting so many different girls, you can choose a girl who you relate with the best or who you have the best sexual chemistry with or things like that, because you're choosing from abundance, not scarcity. So many guys get these super intense crushes on girls because it's the only girl that you have access to. So you could imagine, you know, and could one of you guys grab me a water maybe? Yeah, I've really done a nice job. I had the last little thread of my voice and I blew it out doing my unstifling. But, you know, it's like, if there's that one, the famous, can I yell at it?
Yeah, so there's the garbage truck is backing up. And
fucking garbage truck. Okay. So,
and he doesn't stop. It just keeps going.
Yeah, there's actually Google images of you online about yelling at the garbage truck.
You'll see when he's done. All right, go ahead.
So, have you seen these?
Yeah, of course.
People make pictures of you yelling at the garbage truck.
I had one with a scooter the other day. A guy was zipping around in the scooter. It was like I was actually frustrated because I was like, why does it have to make so much noise? The scooter's this fucking big.
Yeah,
and he's just So but being unstifled allows that to just flow. I guess you know it's a product of unstifling because you kind of go with the flow. And I think what I experienced with you when I was watching you with the girls was like, this dude is just going with the flow. He's not editing. You see, like I would edit that stuff out. But he's not editing anything, and it's interesting to watch how everything just flows. Maybe just for content's sake. And I know that the state is more important. I always say this, who you are is more important than what you do. Who you are, state. But maybe a tip for a dude who's like, he's gonna go out tomorrow night and there's beautiful women. After he's built up the courage, what's the first thing he says, or how does he do it? I seen you do this. He does this once. He goes, He walks up to a group of girls and he goes like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that was, but clearly it worked because there was two of them and he grabbed both their hands and brought them around him. I was like, okay, that's a tip that might be helpful.
Yeah.
He also, there was this one, there was this one, there was this one. I'm like...
Well, as your pickup stuff evolves, you almost do less. It's kind of weird because it's like at first you think you have to have the perfect line, right? Yeah. And then you start to realize like when I learned that you didn't have to talk to pickup girls, I had a student who was like, oh dude, like no girl ever rejects you. And in my mind I'm like, dude, I get rejected all the time. He's like, no you don't. I'm like, here, watch this. I'll go get rejected. This was like over a decade ago, right? So I walk up to this girl without talking, hoping to get rejected. And then she reacted to me the exact same way as if I'd talked.
Right.
It was like kind of weird, right? And I was like, what the fuck, right? And then the dude's like, see, you never get rejected, man. Not even when you don't talk. And I was like, oh God, you know, because I totally do. So you start to realize that there's these like principles that are actually making the attraction happen in the first place. And you can actually peel back the layers to it. So maybe it was your eye contact. Maybe it was your body language. You know, I mean, take even like my voice being blown out. Like I just blown it out here. It's like a lot of guys would be shy to approach like that. Or if you have like some big zit, or you know, like if you have like a giant thing of mustard on your face or something like that. But you can do it anyway. And that's why if you even see these pickup prank videos where say like guys will approach like in some crazy costume or something and they'll get a girl's number and everyone's like, oh my God. But what they don't realize is that anyone who knows pickup, it doesn't matter like really what you're wearing.
Right.
You know, you can just go do it anyway.
Yeah.
But because mainstream society doesn't understand that, they're like, oh my God, he's in a costume and he picked up a girl. I can't believe it. And it's a great gimmick.
Well, one of the funniest things that I thought you did during the presentation is that you made fun of yourself. You called yourself a troll, a ginger troll. He's like, look at me, I'm a ginger troll. And I'm like, that's interesting. He's kind of calling himself not a great looking guy. That's your words.
Yeah.
And then 2 hours later, he's doing this and this and this, and chicks are all over him.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes it so easy to diss yourself, because to a new audience, they're so caught up in social conditioning that they look at me and they're like, oh my God, how could he be doing this? But like, if you actually know game, you know pickup, you realize it's not a big deal. Yeah. It's not a major factor. Obviously, a more handsome guy, it's like, it doesn't hurt, but it's like, you can totally get around it. It's just, your looks are more important. Like, if you're just walking up, you're just like, hey, what's up? How's it going? And you did literally, like, you offered nothing, but you're just, you know, a cute guy, well then, that's going to be better. But if you know how to use your energy right and make her have a better time than any other guy's having, then it's not a big deal.
Right.
You know, do we have that water back there, by the way? Oh, thank you. Yeah, so, cool.
You know, so I'm going to wrap it up like this, because, we could totally go on.
The quick tips about how to start approaching them?
Yes.
Because that's actually pretty good stuff.
Go for it.
Okay. This counts. Okay,
please,
this would be like if I said to yourself, like, you know, how do you get, like, jacked? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, give me two tips.
Yeah, okay, so, okay, really, really simple way of going about it. Everybody goes about it differently. Okay, so what might work for one guy, it might not be good for another guy. But one thing that I found worked for a lot of guys, maybe not for you, but for a lot of guys have found it helpful, I call it the 6 steps. So I say, approach all, minimize time in between social interaction, never judge yourself, find something funny about it, and then the last two don't worry about too much, but it's basically just the idea of, like, keep it short and sweet if you're not in a great mood, and then burn it to the ground if you're in an amazing mood. And then the last one is
burn it to the ground if you're in an amazing mood.
Well, yeah, that one is basically like, because if you're kind of stifled in, right? And then, okay, say that I walk up to you and I'm kind of feeling stifled and shy. I'm like, oh, cool. I like your shirt, Squats. That's cool, right? And then you're like, cool. And I'm like, okay, see you later. You know, he's gonna be like, oh, thanks. You know, cool, right? But if I'm kind of like in a stifled mood, like socially stifled, I'm like, cool shirt, bro. And then you're like, thanks. And I'm like, yeah. Right? And then you're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what do you want? You know, right? But if I'm in a good mood, I'm like, oh, cool shirt. And then the conversation keeps flowing.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, if it's a girl, you know, say she runs to the bar, you can kind of follow her because you're in such a good mood, and then she'll just start laughing. Like, you can follow a girl up the street. If you're in a great mood, she's like, no, like that. And you're just like, anyway, you know, and you just keep chatting. It's like Pepe Le Pew from Looney Tunes.
Just keep going.
Yeah, you can just keep going. You can flip them. Like that girl here who I'm with, I had to try 4 times. You know, I had to create wizard stories from Mordor to get her to come with me.
That's wild.
So, but eventually, you know, like, because I never showed neediness, even though she wasn't super compliant right away, she eventually flipped around because I just kept showing my personality. She had more exposure to it, right? Maybe like someone who might watch one of your videos or my videos and first they're like, what's this?
Yeah.
But then eventually they're like, okay. And then eventually they get into it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's like in my reality, a lot of people don't like my visit first, and then eventually they like it, or you might have that same experience. Well, I feel like that with my pickup. It's like, if the girl doesn't like me at first, who cares? Just keep going. Just don't show neediness. It's only when you show neediness that you're really done. As soon as you make that like awkward hand movement, like touch her, like that, right? Or like, you know, or like the stupid joke, you know, you're like, and then it was like this, you know, right? And then that's when it's screwed. But let's just quickly go over those 6-step things. The basic gist one is approach all. Why do I say that? Now this is different for different guys. Some guys only want to approach girls that they're genuinely attracted to.
Right.
And if that's the case, if you recognize yourself like that, cool. But I know for myself and for maybe around 80% of guys that I see, so it depends on the person, it's like if you go into the bar and then you just lay back and then you're waiting for that one girl, it's cool if you're having fun with your buddies, like if you're genuinely having fun, then it's cool. But if you're kind of there to meet girls and then you're like, you know, and you're kind of waiting, finally, first of all, what you'll do is you'll rationalize, not attractive enough. Not attractive enough, even some that are.
And lack of movement stifles also.
Completely, 100. What you just thank you. I'm gonna add that to my seminar because it's totally what it is. It's completely what it is for me. Because I get in my head so naturally, and the best way for me to get out of my head is through movement, right? That's why I thought the bioenergetic stuff was so cool. And actually, when he came to our seminar, like that thing, I don't want to, a little tangents here, but that thing that you did was the craziest thing because he was doing this bioenergetics thing with this dude. And this guy's problem was his throat, probably like mine is right now. And it literally went red. I mean, you couldn't, like as a guy doing a seminar bit, I don't think you could ask for any more, like almost cartoonishly graphic example. Like this guy says he has a constriction in his throat, and when he's doing the thing that he's showing him with the, like all that, his throat goes beet red. Like he was talking to me about that after, like I've got to fix this, like he was all intrigued by it, like what he discovered. It was like you pinpointed something. I'm curious to see.
Your body talks about you. Your body tells you everything about you, and the more stifled you are in various parts of your body, the less you have the ability to express yourself. And you're fucking awesome. Underneath, you just gotta get out of your own way. And the muscular system gets in the way.
Okay, so I need to learn a lot more about this because like I thought that I was doing it like pretty hardcore, but you're at like this whole other like galaxy with it. Like when I look at it, I'm like, geez, like, because you know, like when you think you've gone to a high level with something, but then you see somebody else like at this whole other level. That's kind of like what I see you doing with the unstifledness. Like you're just so loose. Like I struggle with all this stuff.
Oh, I struggle too. I've just spent a lot of time studying it because I suck.
Okay, fair enough. So, so going back into those 6 steps then. Okay, so why do I say open all? What I'll do is I do little short opens on everybody. So even if it's like some girl I'm not into at all, I might just be like, hey, what's up? Cool shoes. Or just, hey, how's your night going? Or just like, you know, just like a face. Just like, you know, and then she just kind of laughs.
So you're spitting out to everybody.
Just whatever. And then what happens is that when the really intimidating girl, like the most intimidating girl in the environment goes by, my brain can't make the distinction anymore between who I'm saying hi to. I don't even remember. Sometimes I don't even realize the girl's attractive until I'm like talking to her for like 10 minutes and I'm like, oh my God.
Wait a second, you're hot. I might want to talk to you a little bit further.
So that's when I do the best, because if in my mind, if I'm acknowledging too much how hot she is, that can stifle me in a lot. So then I say minimize time between interactions. Well, again, I'm a natural introvert, like complete, ultimate natural introvert. Like when I'm sitting at home alone, that's when I feel really good. When I'm out, I'm like, oh my God, like it's a little bit overstimulating for me. So the way that I get around that is that I minimize time between interaction, and then the thing that intimidates me, suddenly I find it like energizing because I keep socializing. As opposed to like if I socialize a bit and then I kind of chill for a bit,
just keep
socialize a bit. So I get into a rhythm. Right. So that's
you were clearly in a rhythm, and I noticed that too because the spectrum of women that you were talking to was really broad. Some of them I'm like, I can't believe he's talking to her. And then I'm like, I can't believe he's talking to her.
Thank you. And it's the worst too because if like a fan sees that and they only see the I can't believe he's talking to her. They're like, I saw Tyler out and he's talking to her. Like my dreams are shattered. It's like Santa Claus got shown to be like bullshit, right? But I do that because, like I said, it's like I don't want to place any one person on a pedestal. So I want to be just having a good time, and then I want to minimize my time between the social interaction so that I just keep becoming social. So I can't retreat back into my little world of thoughts, which is what I tend to do. But different people are different. But that's what I tend to do. Now the next one is I never judge myself. So my frame is Who the fuck would have the balls to do that? And what I'm saying is that if I'm a sober guy and I'm approaching a random girl out, whether it went bad or good, who the fuck would have the balls to do that?
Right.
Anybody can sit back at the fucking bar judging everybody else, criticizing them, and feeling superior.
But you're congratulating yourself.
If I had the balls, who the fuck could have the balls to do that? Yeah, so no matter what, I'm viewing it as a plus. Now the one after that is you find something funny about it. So you'll notice even if I go talk to a girl and she's like, get off, I'm kind of like, like it's like I have this funny look, but it's very genuine actually. Because in my mind, everything's like fucking South Park. It's like the girl, it's like, you know, and I'm
You're
like,
not taking it too seriously.
Not seriously at all. And look, it's her right not to have sex with every guy.
Right.
Like, it's not like you want your daughter, like, any guy that approached you confidently, take him home, he was confident. Like, no, it's like, she's gonna do what she wants. It's up to, like, if I have a daughter, I have 2 sons, but if I had a daughter, I'm not gonna get mad at a guy for coming to talk to her, but I'm not gonna expect her to go sleep with every single guy that approached well. So in the same way, it's not realistic for me to expect that just because I approach a girl well, that she's gonna want to take me home.
Right, I get it. I have 3 daughters.
Yeah, so you're like, I get it, buddy. Yeah. Okay, so that's my frame. Like, I take nothing personally. That's one of the 4 agreements, actually, in that book, right? Take nothing personally. So you take nothing personally at all. It doesn't mean you couldn't take feedback. Like, if you say, it's a little weird the way I did that. Maybe I could improve that. But you don't have to take it in a personal way. She doesn't know you. So you know yourself better than she knows you. So you want to assume your own opinion of yourself. It takes precedence. It's your reality, okay? It's your party. You bring the party. You're not trying to get into their party. So you always find something funny. So the general gist of it is, one type of guy goes out and he's kind of like, oh, I'm here, I'm going to pick up girls tonight, gets wasted, talks to maybe a couple girls, stumbles home, maybe gets laid here or there, and probably gets a girlfriend from, say, his social circle, maybe some online dating or from his work. The way that we're doing is we're saying, look, you go out sober, if you want to have a drink or 2, cool. Although even if you want to have a drink or 2, what I'd suggest is go approach a couple girls first so that you're not using it as a crutch, and then you could have a couple drinks if you want. I actually don't drink at all, but if you wanted to, then you have a couple drinks. The thing with drinking too is that drinking, men and alcohol have been a good team for getting laid for a millennium. Let's not deny it, right? Like, alcohol does help you get laid. But the way that I see it is that when you go sober, you're going to peak at the end of the night. Because if I get there at 10, I'm in the best mood by 2. You know, I'm kind of like that. Now, my friends that have a few drinks, they're fucking partying like right at 10, where I'm like, oh, I'm sober, I'm nervous, you know, and they're having fun. So I'm kind of envying it. But at 2 a.m., if they've had a couple too many and they're a bit sloppy, my brain neurotransmitters are all happy from 4 hours of joking and socializing. That's when I want to peak. I want to peak at 2.
That is a great tip.
Yeah. So because many of my friends drink, you know, and then I'll pull over 2 girls to them. I'm like, hey, you know, let's talk to these girls, and they're like, fucking bitch, who do you think you are? I'm like, dude, you were so cool 4 hours ago. You know, what happened? So that's like, you know, so the way that we're doing it is we're saying, don't go getting a crush on the girl from your office and then saying, how do I get her? And then putting her on this pedestal and making it a big deal. Because to give you fair warning, guys that know how to do this, you'll be out with her at a social event, and some dude who knows how to do this is going to swoop in, and he's going to be making out with her in 3 minutes, and your little princess is going to be off with him, and you're going to be steaming. And I know because this happens to me. You know, like, I'll go on a guy-girl group, and you see that guy's been like dangling his scarce hopes on this girl, and then you know, and
this
then I'm
my grand opportunity.
Dude, and she's like up on me within seconds. If it went well, to be fair, because I have bad nights too. But if I'm having a great night, like the other night was pretty good night. Because to be fair, if you could have met me, I could have had a terrible night. To tell you the truth, you never really know what could happen. But that was cool. So she's up on me. You just see him crushed because he's like, how the fuck? Like, I have been romancing her, like, or maybe not romancing, but like creating tension and flirting for months, and he just came in and he's treating her like a slut. He's treating her like a slut, and it's disrespectful. It's like, dude, it's not disrespectful. You just didn't have the balls to do what I just did.
A long time ago.
You know what I'm saying?
You had the chance.
Yeah. So the way that we think about it is like, don't pin your hopes on the one girl, but rather, if you want to get the one special girl, get good with women in general. Because you get these guys that come into it and they're like, well, I like this one girl, and how do I get her? And what we say is like, dude, you've probably already alienated this girl. If she's not into you now, you're probably not going to come up with this magic thing that's going to switch it around. You could, but what you're better off to do is say, I'm going to learn the skills of getting good with girls. So then what you do is you go out and you talk to lots of girls, and then you keep learning. And so imagine it's like a baseball player. And the baseball player is like, I just want to be able to bat off that one pitcher.
Yeah.
You know, dude, just do batting practice.
It reminds me so much of sales. When I did sales.
Oh, yeah.
That's totally it. Mm-hmm. You want to land that whale.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they call it in sales. That one big sale. So you're looking for that one big sale. Either he drives a nice car or it's a perfect storm. But you don't land the whale without going out there and asking for the sale, asking for the sale, asking for the sale, asking for the sale, asking for the sale. And when the whale just shows up, you're like, hey, ask for the sale. Yeah. And it's a clean close.
And it's autopilot.
Right.
It's like, don't rise to the occasion, just be 50% of your training. That's some kind of phrase they use in like some kind of training that I read somewhere. Yeah. So it's like you're not forced to like be this perfect pickup with this one girl. Even if you were half of your best self, because you worked on it, it could maybe work out.
Right.
So it's autopilot. So we want guys to build a skill set. So it's like, okay, say someone wanted to befriend you, right? One way they could go about it is they're like, I want to befriend Elliott Hulse. I want to be at the strength camp gym with Elliott. You're probably like, don't tell people to do this, but you know what I mean, right? So, and then they can like walk around the outside of your gym like with binoculars, like looking at you. It's like, you know what I mean? Elliott, right? They could do that. Or what they could do is they could build themselves up to the point where they offer value back and be the type of person who could be friends with a guy like you, but also could be friends with other people like yourself who are successful.
It's just kind of like, hey, you're obviously a cool dude, much to offer.
Yeah.
Let's chill out.
And then they could be friends with you. They could be friends with Richard Branson.
Right.
They could be friends with, I don't know, like, who else is badass? Kelly Starrett or something.
Sure,
you know what I mean, right? And then because it's just the kind of person that would know those people. Well, so instead of circling your compound, you're masturbating with binoculars thinking, how do I befriend Elliott, and becoming obsessive. Well, that's what guys do with girls is like, I want that girl, I gotta get a game plan to get that girl, like the movie Hitch. And like, it's like that movie's cute as a movie, but in reality, if a guy hired some dude to help him stalk her, she'd be freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
So instead what you do is you become the kind of guy who could date her, but and you like her, but if it didn't work out, you could date her. And if it didn't work out, you could date her. Because you can't, like, I want to meet you for a long time, right? But what if you didn't want to meet up? What am I supposed to,
But you know what? You're offering value. And I don't know how this translates into meeting women, but, someone, maybe it does offer value. Maybe it does translate because you offer value. So like attracts like. And, you quickly see, I click over to your YouTube channel, it's like, this dude is really helping people. He's got tons of videos. People like him, and no wonder why. He's providing value. If you're out, I'm assuming, and you're talking to lots of girls, if there's that one you want to go to, and she has at least through the corner of her eye seen you providing value, i.e. interaction with other people, even smiles and giggles, a good time, a laugh here and there, and you come, she's going to be like, well, I mean, obviously I want to interact with this guy because he's been providing value out there.
Yeah, that's never bad. If you've been having a good time, in the environment, that's never a bad thing. If they see that, that's for sure good. And but you see the idea, like just say me and you meeting, right? Like, what if you'd been like, well, fuck off, and then I'm like, no, it was all for nothing, right? And but it's like, no, it's like well, oh well, and then you move on and life goes on.
Yeah, well, you have step 2 and 3, which was, what was it? Say I'm awesome. Yes, I have balls.
Oh, who the fuck could have the balls to do that?
Who has the balls?
Yeah.
And what was the third one, which was laugh it off. Laugh it off. It's light.
Yeah. So the overarching key is again, being attracted to women. It's not something you do. It's something you are. Yeah. And it's you do stuff, but what's fueling and creating the attraction is what you are. So you learn about things like core confidence, or bring a girl into your reality rather than trying to sneak in, wedge your way into her party. Right. Being a man with a sense of purpose, personal boundaries, and the right energy, and who's free. A video that I made that was inspired by your channel, I called it being grounded, on your purpose, and free. Yeah. So I joked I call it GPF. And again, and you don't have to do this stuff perfectly. Like I watch him, and he's on a whole other level. I'm not like a super grounded guy, but if I could just learn it to an extent, it just helps that much more.
Right.
Right? Like I'm not as free as like Russell Brand. I mean, that guy's like, have you seen his new one, Messiah Complex yet?
I've heard of it and I haven't watched it.
It's like unbelievable. Yeah. Like it's unreal.
He's just open all over the place. Huh?
Totally open, right? And the girls are just, responding. I mean, to be fair, he's a celebrity in front of a crowd. But even if he wasn't, a guy behaving like that, is always good. So you just look at like those little things, and that can drive the attraction. And again, you're becoming the type of guy who would naturally meet those girls. And then the way that you do it is you learn that for, say, a couple of years if you're a young guy, and then you date different girls, get a better sense of what you like, and then what happens is that when you meet a girl who you're really into, say that you're already dating a couple of other girls and she's really hot, she's like, well, is he seeing other people? Oh my God. And then she's like, what are we? Do you even care about me? And you're like, you know what? Yeah, maybe it could just be me and you. And now she got to like get rid of those other bitches, because she's competitive, as opposed to the guy that's like, please, baby, please be with me. And she's always kind of resentful because he had to beg for it.
I think women have a natural, innate tendency to be resentful to a man that is needy that way.
Huge. The resentment is enormous. Like in our programs, we'll show videos of like me walking up to girls with guys that got them with, say, money, and like just by trying to be like the provider man and do it like that way. And you'll hear the girls like talking shit on these guys, like passing, like I don't drink booze, but like they'll start pouring the guy's drinks from his table and like passing them to you and shit like that. And you get this terrible sense of it. You're like, that's like, it's like, no, I'm gonna attract women.
It's manipulative also. It's more what he's doing than who he is. He hasn't mastered the very first keys, which are your state.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You don't have the state. Who you are is far more important than what you say and what you do.
Yeah, and so many guys want to hear the lines. Like what's he saying? What's he gonna say? Yeah. But they would call it almost like a lagging indicator. Like, so for example, like I have like if you put your hand here, I have like, say, like this cracking, like say like in my shoulders, right?
Okay, cool.
But what I found out earlier this year, because I was actually watching your vids, and you're talking like, if you get too much muscle, you get all tight.
Right.
And I was like, damn it, I'm tight. I should have fucking stretched. So I started
your upper trapezius, I'm now doing short camp videos. Yeah, it's totally like too short.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see this drop a little bit. Yeah. And I mean, you're falling back well, but it's because your upper trapezius is tight. It'd be good if your neck got longer and this dropped down, and then that wouldn't happen. Yeah. But the lagging indicator is this. The problem is...
So we should probably talk more about that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? So if I'm like, Elliott, like, fix this.
Yeah.
We need to just do something on this thing.
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's like, I need the line. Give me the line. But it's like, no, the fact that you're struggling with what to say is a lagging indicator of how you feel about yourself, what your belief about women is, and the way that you're flowing.
Right.
So you need to do, like what I always say with talking, like how to talk and talk, I say, whatever you have to say has value just because it came from you. It's delusional, but you have to believe it.
But it's a resourceful way to approach the situation.
Yeah, like right now, if you were I would challenge to just talk about the lines of paint on that parking lot.
Right.
We could probably do it and sell it.
Yeah, and it would be fascinating.
I think it could be. I totally think it could be. And so the thing is, we can do that because we have that frame of, dude, I'm saying it.
Yeah.
They want to hear what I'm saying.
Of course.
So you got to say that with girls, right? You got to come from that frame.
Yeah.
And then we say it's not the content of what you're saying. She wants to see what you think is interesting.
Yes.
So if it's cool to you, then she feels that emotion of how cool it is off you, and then she gets into it. So I'm willing to say like Eckhart Tolle, right? Like when I first read Eckhart Tolle, so many of these like dingbat club girls are like, Eckhart Tolle, this sounds amazing, and they're like writing it into their phones. Like they probably never remember to look it up, but they feel in that moment when I was like, and I still love Eckhart Tolle, but when I was first reading it, I was like so mind blown because I'd never seen anything like this before. It was like my first introduction to like presence and that kind of thing. So I was so mind blown. So I talk about it to girls, and it's because it's what you like, and then if you're talking about what you like, the girls, they feel the energy of it. Like they're like, you're so interesting, but they feel like you're interesting because they feel the feeling of interest in your body because you're talking about what you think is interesting.
Vibes.
Yeah, and then they feel it. Or if you're saying what you think is funny, they might not think that's funny, but because you thought it's funny, they're like, oh, you're so funny.
Yeah.
So
yes, I am.
Yeah. See, so you get a lot of that. So you want to get that, and then so many guys are focused on again the lagging indicators, like what do I say? Or these bizarre excuses like, what's your approach to getting laid average? And it's like, dude, it's not even an approach. Like, it's just you're talking to everybody.
Yeah.
And hopefully by the end of the night, something pans out. It's not like they were fun conversations.
Yeah.
But guys, like, their ego is so
all
strong.
All of that is being up in the head. I mean, that's really, you're way too up in your head if you're looking for the right words stringed together or the statistics of the thing.
Yeah.
Get here!
Yeah.
This is where it is. The body is the mind.
Yeah.
So get out of this part of the mind and back into this part of the mind.
Yeah. And that's what
okay, so hang out. So we've got, is that number 4? What's number 4? We got 6.
Oh, well, the 5th and 6th were just, like I said, burn it to the ground if you're in a great mood.
Right.
Because you'd be shocked at how effective persistence is. But it's only good if you're in like that kind of mood.
Yeah.
Right? So you can see in the girl's eyes, she'll get like these little kind of anime eyes, like she's looking deep into your eyes. And in the same way that we might look at a girl's body to see if we're into it, the girls look into your eyes because they want to see if you're flinching, right? So if you're looking into the camera, like, or the way I'm looking in the camera, if I'm kind of like if I'm like, hey guys, like,
sure.
you know, like that, they can sense that. So when a man's attracted to a woman, you might look her like this. Women will do that to an extent, which is always fun. But, you know, especially if you're in like great shape or something, right? But generally what I find is the girls looking deep in your, like if they're attracted, kind of like they're looking in your eyes. Mm-hmm. And so if you're in a great mood and they're looking in your eyes, you can persist. Mm-hmm. Like guys are shocked, you can persist. It's only when you get needy or if you're getting tension or if those little eyes are kind of extinguishing, then you back off. Mm-hmm. Then it's done. And then you're just like, hey.
So you're watching her eyes to see if it's done. So
yeah,
it'll start to extinguish and wrap it up, buddy.
See you later. Have an awesome night.
Yeah.
You don't have to sleep with me. Like it's
Say
okay.
yes, I've got big balls.
Yeah.
That was fun and funny. And then burn it to the ground, move on.
Just see you later. Yeah.
Cool.
And it's amazing too because when you do that, they often flip around. They're like, you're gonna get laid tonight. You're awesome. Go have fun. It's like if a homeless dude came up to you and he just said, hey, can I have some change? And you said no, and he was like, oh no, see you later. You're like, oh dude, have a good day, man. You know, right? But if if he's like,
no harm. Yeah.
Yeah, then you're like, dude, what the fuck? Yeah. So getting rejection is not bad. If anything, it puts you in a better mood because you're taking action.
Yeah.
You know, so you can kind of see like why I was attracted to watching your stuff is because you're taking action, you're getting into the action out of your head. Mm-hmm. And that's when I've had the most success. Whenever I'm in my head, that's when I'm at my most awkward. So the more that I go, like even this conversation, the more we talk, it's like, it just goes.
It rolls, yeah.
Yeah, but I tend to be naturally very in my head when I start. It's like even when I do my talks, like what you saw. The first, say, 20 minutes, I'm kind of like, hey, what's up, welcome, what am I doing here? And then after like 20 minutes, I'm like, you know, I just start to go. So, and I love that feeling. I kind of live for that feeling, actually. So.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, listen, like I said, he's the only guest that's ever been on the channel, and I think he's got fascinating things to say. Not only that, I think what Tyler is teaching is something that I can't. So I invite you to check out what he's doing. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah, and anybody who's ever, thanks man, anyone who ever bumps into this video by seeing me on it, this is my favorite guy to watch on YouTube. It's the most engaging things I see on YouTube. It's like, I don't watch TV, so, you know, I need something higher consciousness to watch, so that's why I like to watch your stuff. My favorite video from you is actually the one, which is the most bizarre one you ever did, I think, which is where you're on the bed and you're shaking like this.
Kicking and screaming, bioenergetics, man.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. When you're unstifled, I just turn on the camera and I'm just gonna shit on this fucking video.
Yeah.
And I've done that a couple times.
Yeah, my favorite part is you're like, the jail is in your mind. First thing, like, the jail's in your mind, like all that shit, right? And it's true. Like, no, but it really is.
Yeah, it is.
Like you became the jailer.
Yeah.
You're the like what did you say? It was like first they put it on you,
right?
But then you're guarding
and then
yourself.
You do it.
Yeah.
The world conditions you in this way because they need you to fit into the machine.
Yeah.
The machine needs well-formed sprockets.
Yeah.
You know, you got to fit in. So the world does it to you, but at some point you've got to grow up and realize that I'm in control of my life. I decide what I'm going to be. I decide what I'm going to do. I decide how I'm going to evolve as a human being. Let me set aside what I've been taught. But the training is so deeply ingrained that we just keep doing it to ourselves. Yeah. It's a lot of guilt. I mean, I think that's I think that's number one. A lot of it is guilt for being who you really are, and and guilt really is it's a moral judgment being placed on a physiological response or your own energetic expression. Yeah. And guilt is yours. Nobody gives you guilt. They teach you how to be guilty, but it's ours. And really that's a big part of what I teach is like to get rid of that shit. Yeah. Get rid of feeling sad about yourself, sorry for yourself, a victim of the circumstances, and take ownership of your full self-expression. Yeah, and you know, maybe just to add one more thing, the thing I thought was cool, like you had one video where you talked about respectability is a trap. Oh right? Yeah, of course. And the respectability exists within like professional context, for example, where it's like you're going to be on time for work because you want, you know, people who you work with to see a certain respectability, which is cool, right? Obviously with our jobs, you know, we can be very free-flowing in videos, but then at the same time with like a programmer teaching, you know, respectability is good within that context. But at the same time, it's like there's certain people get a pass
there's like a double standard where it's like if Tiger Woods, well, he cheated on his wife, which is bullshit because he broke an agreement. But at the same time, if a rock star cheats on his wife, people are just like, whatever, you know, some rock star guy. But if it's a guy that was like family friendly, it's like people are going to freak out. And the thing with that is like you could take that same principle and you could apply that to all aspects of life where it's like you want to be the guy who's fun and he's just that guy. He's just that guy having fun. Like you could be just sitting here and say like a dump truck goes by and you start yelling at it or something like that and people would just laugh at it because it's just Elliott being Elliott. You know, or say a guy like Charles Barkley, you know, like on his broadcasting, like on basketball. But say a guy like, you know, say Bill Clinton was doing a talk and he's like, what's this fucking garbage truck? You know, and
but he's a great example though because he cheated on his wife and people love him.
Yeah.
I think because if you place your respectability on the figment of your imagination, on your persona, on the lie that is you, if you base it all on that social construct, and that's challenged, and you actually have nothing to offer except that persona, then you're done.
Yeah.
Because all the respectability was infused in something that is easily destroyed. But if your respectability comes from my heart, like my respectability is inside here.
Yeah.
So even if you have tied it to something I've offered you or a way that I was with you, and that disappears, I still have self-respectability.
Yeah.
I think that's what I mean to say.
Yeah.
Self-respectability is a total different experience, and you carry that with you regardless of what social constructs have fallen down around you. Bill Clinton cheated on his wife, but people fucking loved him more than ever because he had a lot to offer.
Yeah.
And the guy was charismatic in many different ways.
Yeah.
So, okay, I screwed up. This is a problem. You're mad at me, but still respectable.
Yeah.
You know, and it depends on the opinion of the person, of course.
Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna think about that for a while.
Hey, this is how I finish my videos. We say done.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Done.
Ha!